can be angry, but not as much as they maybe they should be sometimes. Very accepting, which is great.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Indigenous issues that aren't being dealt with, and during Idle No More, I was certainly amongst the protesters who were very angry with the Canadian government, the Harper government at that time. Policies haven't changed that much. So, yeah, very angry with the direction that the government is taking First Nations and environmental issues. Well, I mean, during Idle No More, there wasn't necessarily a lot of response from the government, but there's been a huge groundswell from the grassroots and a huge resurgence within Indigenous community in terms of reasserting our sovereignty.
I can't say that I can recall an angry Canadian. It's not part of our characteristic. I suppose it happens like everyone, but I can't think of any particular occasion except maybe when we don't get gold at the Olympics. You know, we kind of bottle it up, I think. We're bottle-up people. That's the Canadian approach. We don't express it openly. It's because otherwise we wouldn't be nice. I think we have to keep that facade up. That's the thing. We have to be nice to everyone. Otherwise we'd ruin an entire cultural stereotype if we did.
I think they can be angry, but not as much as maybe they should be sometimes. They're very accepting, which is great. But sometimes you just have to stand up for yourself a little bit. A typical example, if you're on a streetcar and it's a snow day and there is an accident in the road, streetcar stops, everyone is like hundreds of streetcars pile up and everyone's getting off on a very snowy day. No one says a word. And all it is a small crash of two cars, but because there's a police reviewing the crash, people just patiently walk without saying anything. Meanwhile, me from South America, I was like, what the heck? Can you just take this car away? Like there's 3,000 people just walking because of this small little crash. But I was the only one.
I see people get angry at the government quite a bit. Frustrated because the government's very slow in acting on anything. If you're on Ontario Works, ODSP, they're very slow and they'll cut you off like a dime and they don't give you a warning. Well, they usually go to their office and complain. And then the more you complain, they just push your file over their desk and it disappears. And you got to reapply and go see your doctors.
Very few. I think they're usually drivers who don't like the way someone's driving. I think it's because of our British history, and many of the first settlers in Canada were British, and in England they had a culture of being polite, keeping quiet, and I think that formed our culture to a large extent. But also our multiculturalism, because we have many people who live here from other cultures, the safe thing to do is to just be as polite as possible with everyone, because you don't know if someone comes from a culture where something you do might be offensive or not. And I think that is what makes us all act so polite. I don't know, it might be a bit different in Quebec. I'm not sure. I haven't spent much time there, but I think it is a large part due to the British influence in English-speaking Canada.
I've met Canadians who have been angry. However, the correlation between angry Canadian is something I haven't seen. Canadians become angry at hockey, but that's part of our theater. Yeah. We are theatrical because anger is an emotion. Now, we can go deep into what anger is, but that becomes a psychosis. The full range of human emotion which other people share as well. However, there is a certain irony, and humor is a very useful way to diffuse anger.
I don't know, you meet almost one every day, I would say, and all the different reasons, yeah. Traffic, politics, money, you name it. What makes me angry? When people care more about themselves than what's good in general. People are just a lot of cursing and, other people just act out against other people.
I've met angry people in Canada. Yeah, I guess I have met angry Canadian. My guess is that they discovered they were out of maple syrup or no, I don't know. I mean, all jokes aside, I don't think we have anything to be angry about being Canadian. I think we have it pretty good.
I don't know, be angry, but not as much as maybe they should be sometimes. Very accepting, which is great.